Yesterday, I heard from a client that I haven't worked with for a year, and her story made me jump on this live. The lesson for today is you may only be able to charge to the level to which your elasticity ends or lasts. Sometimes you're not able to charge more, you're not able to collect more because you have your own ceiling on price, or you have your own energetic blocks on price. This is a pricing class, but I'm not going to talk through the pricing models because that's a lesson that is in Best Kept Secret community on Skool. You can join for that lesson. What I want to teach here is kind of the context in energetics in pricing that a lot of people don't see when they have issues with increasing prices or getting paid or overcoming objections and all of that. So this client, and I won't be sharing her name because I do not know if she'll feel comfortable with me sharing this. So I just withhold the name. She came to the program after remortgaging her house. She didn't have the money. She was online and she was doing like make money. She was selling like info products. But really what she wanted to do is something to do with dogs. Like she was very passionate about dogs. She had one or three dogs, if I remember, and her dogs were like, those dogs which can go like for competition and stuff like that. She was very knowledgeable and very, very passionate with dogs, but she wasn't doing it because she didn't know like how to price, how to package, how to position, and all of that stuff. So in the meantime, she was selling some program that was for an 8-figure marketer and she was making some money. But when I was very curious because my husband did the call to enroll her, and he told me the story that this lady has had to remortgage her house to be in the program. And I was very curious because of the elasticity, because of the resourcefulness, because of how much she's willing to go to kind of do it. And so I was very curious when we started. I was very curious with her. And so on her onboarding call, what I discovered is that she was doing this thing that she didn't like. What she really wanted to do was the dog stuff, even though she had come to us for make money. And so what then I decided to do is I decided to build the business of her dreams. So I asked her, like, what did she really want? And it was like, I want to do something with dogs. Okay. But then in the moment, she was like, okay, I want to do business coaching. But I'm like, but you really want to do the other thing? Like, why are you doing business coaching if what you want to do is the other thing? And she answered, like, I didn't know how I would do that online. Then I asked her, like, what if you didn't have to do it online? And she was like, wow. And so I sat with her, we created an offer. We created a model where she would do dog training for other people. So if you had a dog that you wanted to be more like trained more, maybe competing, maybe just dogs that do what you tell them to do. So the kind of thing she does is like really helping dog owners have the best dog ever. Like have dogs which listen, which I don't know, sit when you tell them to sit, they move when you tell them to move, they do whatever you tell them to move. And I am not very knowledgeable about dogs because I don't have a dog. But Robin's business was about dog training and helping dog owners train their dogs. But she also had this thing of like the dogs can compete and stuff like that. And so we created an offer. And I looked at her and said, everything you learn with me, you can take and apply it offline. You can build this business. You don't have to build it online. I said, you can totally go and get a physical location and do this. You can totally have your membership offline. Like you don't have to do this stuff online. You can locally go and do this thing. And she sat and said, I don't know, I like the plan. And she kept doing the online stuff anyway because she didn't have like the location and more money and stuff like that. And so I haven't heard from Robin for almost a year. And yesterday I heard from Robin, and let me see if I can read for you what. Let me go to my messages. What she wrote to me is this. She has now 2 locations where she trains dogs, and she's being interviewed for a 3rd location. She wrote a long one, but I'm going to read the last one. With all I've learned in the online space, a business model that benefits the clients with multiple dogs in multiple spots in an ongoing subscription service. They never lose money missing classes because they are competing. And the trainers, and I was asked if I'm interested in a 3rd location that allows me to bring 2 well-needed sport trainings in our area. Talking with judges at the moment. Thank you, Prima, for creating that offer. I read this because it was a moment for me when I read this, because despite what I gave Robin in the moment, she didn't like take it and just implement it, because there was extra costs involved. Like she had to find a location and she had to get a permit and she had to get so many things. After her time in the program, Robin went silent. And I didn't know what had happened to Robin. She had gotten a client or so from what we did, but not so much. She went away, and 1 year later, she is now considering a 3rd training center. And she said, "Thank you very much, Prima. That call you gave me was very helpful. And I'm now running the model offline." The reason I share this story is because sometimes when you stretch to pay for something, you find a way to make it work. And I'm just surprised that after 1 year, she was still like holding on to the plan we've created. It must have been something to do with how much she had to stretch to get in the program. I have been the kind of person that paid for things I couldn't afford. I have paid for things that if I started to explain how I paid for them, you wouldn't believe me. But I have had to stretch time and again to get in rooms that I wanted to get in. The first very program that I joined, I kid you not, I had $2,000. The program was $20,000, and I sold everything in my house to get on that program. I have paid my way into programs that I couldn't afford. In fact, the more I can't afford something, the more I want it. What that does for me is it really stretches me. It stretches what is possible for me. And it stretches my ability to help clients get out of their own way. So when someone says I can't afford it, what I hear is I don't have enough elasticity in what's possible. And because I have taken date and I have stretched myself and I have paid so much in myself, when I create offers, I don't have a problem with pricing. And when I talk about how much I charge, I talk about it with a straight face. And I believe in people's resourcefulness to find the money. I really believe that if there's anything that people can put on credit cards, it is that program that can change their life that they have been wanting to pay for. And I know you may not agree. I know you may not believe this. But the more you stretch, the more chances you will get the best out of whatever the thing. I have stretched my way into rooms, and I was like, okay, I'm in this room. I have to get everything out of this room. The more the thing stretches you, the more you just get yourself to do it. And I do not know where you are in terms of date, in terms of stretching yourself beyond what you can manage. But I can guarantee you that if you're sitting on a program that can change your life and you're thinking, I don't want to take more credit, that is something you can deal with. That's something you can resolve, because people take credit for a lot of things: cars, houses, tuition. When it comes to investing in themselves, a program which can change their life, they're like, I can't take credit. But if you've never taken credit yourself, if you've never stretched beyond a certain limit, it will be very hard for you to help people through that ceiling, because maybe you have the same feel, the same ceiling around how much people should stretch for stuff. And one of the gifts that you can give the people in front of you who are trying to buy is the gift of being able to help them walk through that nerve of, oh my God, the program is 50 grand. Like, helping people walk through that nerve and make a decision on the phone without pressure. So what ends up happening is you can have the best offer in the world, but the moment you drop the price, people have objections. Can't afford it. Need to speak to my spouse. Need to speak to my, whatever the person is, my cat, my dog. People will always have, I need to fit into this thing. People will always have an excuse why they can't pay. And what I have learned to do over time, after losing countless clients, is I have had one, coach them through whatever the fears they have. If it's a coachable thing, sometimes it's not. Or even heal through whatever the angst is. So for me, most times, when I tell people what the price is, what happens for them is they feel like throwing up, which is fine. Maybe people have never paid beyond a certain amount. They feel like throwing up. And what I have learned to do in service for the person in front of me is, okay, what I'm feeling is that a part of you wants to do this, but a part of you is just unsure. And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, what I would love for you, though, to be able to achieve is I'd like you to achieve a place of peace where you can feel into that decision without being pressured or pushed in a corner. But if we did a process where it would actually help you do that, most people would be like, cool. On a scale of 1 to 10, how big is the nerve? Where is the nerve? Where is the biggest part of the nerve? And they'll be like, in my stomach, in my chest. It can be in any area, really. And the question will be more like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much? Like, how uncomfortable is this decision? And most of them will be like at a 10, like, I want to throw up. No. Someone who wants to throw up because of a price is not going to make the right decision. Whether they hire you or don't, they're not going to make the right decision in that moment. But what I have learned to do, which has been very helpful for me and for the person in front of me, is helping them come now, like get that nerve from a 10 maybe to a 2. Walking them through that process of sitting with the nerve and sending that nerve love. So they reach a place where they're like, okay, I feel the chest has cleared. Now I feel like I can decide. Now I feel like I can feel into this and make a decision. And most times after the process, they're like lit. And it's either, oh my God, now I know what you can help me do, and I want to do this and this with you. Or it is, the actual truth is, I don't need the thing right now, or it doesn't matter what they say. But being able to gift people that opportunity to be able to get clear of angst or the nerve so they can make the decision whether it's to hire you or not hire you, if it makes sense. Because a lot of people, if they don't make the decision once you're on the call, they'll just not do it. And so what I wanted to kind of go through is how much you can help people is stretch beyond the whatever the thing, the ceiling is, will depend on how much you've been stretched yourself. So if you've been never stretched yourself beyond a certain limit, that's going to be your limit when people want to pay you and they're scared. Because maybe you've never passed that. Like, you've always been scared and gone, okay, I don't have the money, and then you retrieve. The second one is if you've never paid a certain amount of money and you're asking for it, a part of you won't do it. Energetically, a part of you won't do it. I'm not saying don't charge anything you've not paid, but I'm saying if you cringe at a 10K offer, there's gonna be a problem when you start to ask for 20 or 30 or even 10. And so a lot of people want to correct $5,000, but the highest they've paid is like 3 or 1 grand. Like, how does that work? What I have discovered is you attract who you are. And when you sell, the objections people give you, I kid you not, go back to like how you've been buying stuff and kind of look at yourself. Like, how do you buy? Are you a decisive person? Do you ghost people? Do you only buy when there's a sale? Do you have countless free stuff you have? Do you always want to do it yourself? Do you feel like everything you need is in a book and you don't need a coach? Like, what is your buy? How do you buy as a person? I am very decisive. I have a no and a yes in my mouth, and a no is a no, a yes is a yes. And so for me, when I'm buying from someone, I do not need convincing. I do not need anything. I just need to be clear. What do you have to offer and how do I feel around the energy that you emit? And I'm either in or I'm out. And after you present your offer, I'm going to say no, no right now. Oh, I don't want the thing. I don't have a problem like saying no. And so I attract a lot of people who are like that. They're decisive, they pay one time because I always would love to pay one time. If I can afford the thing, I always would try my level best to either pay one time or in my head, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to start on a plan, but I want to pay this thing off because I don't want to pile stuff. I tend to attract people who are like that. They know what they want. They know what it can do for them. They know they can make it work. They just need to decide, am I the person to help them? They're just saying, are you my person? I never have to convince anyone why they need what I have. I never have to convince people why they need like they always know why they need the thing. They've probably been sold to by other coaches and they're like, there's a connection here. I wonder if you can help me with this thing. I want you to look back to like how you buy as a person and kind of see if there's a pattern between the way you buy and the way people tend to buy from you. If you have a lot of objections, a lot of people ghosting you, a lot of people wanting to think about it and disappearing, chances are that's your own energy reflecting back in the mirror. Does it make sense? I hope it does. What happens is, yesterday I was talking to an amazing lady who had amazing retreats she does. But when I looked at her pricing, I saw her problem immediately. Everyone in the industry charges between 2 to 3 grand. Okay. And she was charging 5 grand or something like that. And as we spoke, I could see what the problem was. She was in the middle. So, you know, like there's a Primark, and then there's Gucci, and then there's everyone else in the middle who we don't know. Like, we don't even know who is that. That's what she was doing. There's this other cheap place. Maybe it's a place to eat, and everyone who wants to save pennies on the dollar goes there. But there's also this place where people go and they spend $500 on a plate of food. And there is all these other people in the middle that no one cares about. And so what I found for her was she was positioned in the middle. And that was what was killing her. And so what we decided to do, or energetically what she felt was right, was to just get on the other side and say, okay, cool. You want Louis Vuitton? We're here. You want Primark? It's over there. I am no longer in the middle. I can't wait to see what happens for her retreats. I can't wait to see what she's going to pull off for like a 10x type of retreat. I can't wait because I feel like that was so magical where we landed. I'm sharing this because sometimes you're really in your own way. Sometimes you're not able to get the result you want because you haven't stretched yourself enough. One of the pricing mechanisms I teach is the best offer you can ever offer someone, the most valuable offer and the most converting offer. Something called offer on the fly. And that is the offer that you can give somebody that has no cap, like you can price it anything and you can make it exactly for the person in front of you. It's one of the offers that have made me the most money. Being able to create an offer on the fly, I think is priceless. There's a training about offer on the fly in the portal on Skool, so you can join before I turn it to paid. If you're watching this months and months later, chances are it's a paid group now, and you can always start for free as long as Skool is still offering the try option. 7 days, you can go in there, you can search for offers on the fly, you can watch it, and you can leave if you don't intend to stay. In the end, I want to wrap up with this. No matter how cheap your service is, there's going to be people who can't afford it. Right now, I am saying join my group for free. The last mastermind I had, people paid me $1,500 a month to be in it. You get the same coaching every week when you join Skool today. Every week, I show up for an hour and I coach, just the same way I would coach in that mastermind. There is someone on the fence right now. No matter how cheap you charge or how cheap you don't charge, there's going to be someone who can't afford it, even when it's free, because guess what? Free also is an investment of time. And so if you're thinking, am I fair? Am I too priced? I want to answer that question now. It doesn't matter how expensive you are or how cheap you are. There is going to be someone who can't afford it. Doesn't matter how much you charge. There's also going to be someone who can afford it. There's people today paying $100,000 for 1 day with someone. And so my belief is, doesn't matter how cheap you charge or how much you charge, there's going to be people who can't afford it and people who can afford it. So you might as well charge what feels energetically a stretch for you. A price that forces you to show up and deliver into the value of that price. If you would like to know more about the pricing class, I'll be putting it up in the vault. Different ways, maybe 7 ways, maybe 10 ways, I don't know. How you can think about pricing. But the biggest bit of it is energetically, what's your elasticity with price and money? What's your blocks around money? How much have you stretched for things? And if you've not stretched for things, like what's the biggest amount of money you've spent on yourself to get in rooms? If you're the kind of person that has to scrape to save every dollar, that has to get everything on a free trial, I don't know what software you're using, but if you find yourself like you're on the free version of everything, free version of Zoom, free version of Canva, I don't know, I'm not saying those things are bad because sometimes you really need these free things. But at some point, when you start to charge a certain amount, energetically, it doesn't work. Like, we can't still be on the free features and have things being deleted, and it just doesn't serve you. At one point, the cheapest coach, the cheapest sessions, the cheapest way through business stops serving you. At some point, you don't have to be at that point, but at some point, the cheapest vendor in the marketplace stops being the person you're looking for. And you go with the person who has what you want, the person who can give you what you want in the time which you want it. Think about buying coaching offers as like buying cars. You can start with buying an economic car. I just want to move from here to there. Give me the second-hand Toyota, whatever. I'm on a budget. Okay, cool. But at some point in your life, you probably want something else. You want stability. At some point in your life, you want speed. At some point in your life, you want luxury. And it just depends on where you are energetically. But sometimes being able to sell offers that stretch you requires shaking some of the beliefs and habits you have around how you spend money yourself. It'll be really hard to collect money that you're not willing to spend. If you're the kind of person that throws up or wants to throw up when you're faced with a $1,000 investment, I guarantee you may throw up when you say, I charge 10,000. Energetically, it doesn't work. I'm sure there's more. But for everything you have resistance doing, I want you to start looking at it like, where is this coming from? What is the story I have around this thing? And I like the process of really feeling into the thing. Where is this thing in my body? What's the biggest intensity of it? Okay, it's in the chest. Okay, touch that. And go. I send it all out. Accept it. Don't change it. Sit with it. Maybe a minute, maybe 2, maybe 5, maybe 10. I don't know. Keep checking in. Keep checking in. Keep checking in. See if you can drop from 100 to like 40. Big shift, right? That's what I'm thinking about when it comes to pricing, energetics of pricing, stretching yourself, elasticity. I really want to emphasize the point that assuming that people don't have money to pay for your service is limiting, and it's not true. What there is resourcefulness. And maybe the problem that the person in front of you has is they don't have resourcefulness or they lack resourcefulness. One way to help people be resourceful is for you to really show them what is possible for them. So when they tell you about what they desire in their business or in their life, and they tell you where they are, and they tell you what the obstacles are, elasticity is like your ability to point to a problem and say, this is what I think is a problem. Someone comes and tells you, I'd like to be doing this, 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 and this. Right now, I'm doing this, this, and this. Or they come and tell you, this is where I am right now, but I'd love to be really here. And they come and tell you, there's this thing, and this thing, and this thing, and this thing that is in the way. Sometimes your ability to kind of say, I see where you are, and this is what I'm picking as a problem. Does that feel around right? Like your ability, like when I sat with this amazing friend of mine and I said, but look, I have seen your work. I know your work. I know your heart. I know the type of experience you have. Why are you charging based on the healer down the street? Why are you doing that? Why can't you just charge based on your experience and what your service offers to people? I said, you see, right now you're trying to charge $3,000, $5,000. What if I said 30 or 50 grand? What would happen for you? What would you have to do to charge that? What value would you have to offer? What experience would they get for that? So I was like, wow, yeah, I love this. And I see exactly how this experience could change and how it could attract a different person. And now I see why being in the middle has been killing me, because I haven't been talking to the person who I really want to give the experience, because she's the kind of person who wants to give you an experience where you get everything. You pay for your tickets, who knows, maybe we even like deal with your immigration. I don't know if they do that. Everything is paid, everything is on the house. Just get your bag, put some clothes and come. And everything is on us. We'll make it happen. And she's literally helping women with the most priceless thing that they can get. She's giving a service, an experience that you cannot buy with money. And her person is the person who has the money but doesn't have a connection to herself. And after sitting with her, I was like, you have such a life-changing experience. And the problem is you're in the middle of nowhere with how you're positioning it. And she was like, I see that. I want that for me. It feels just exciting and I want to do it. So your ability to kind of stretch what is possible for the person, like, what could I be doing? How big could the thing that I can do be if I stretched my, and she didn't have a problem with like money or whatever, but like, I just wanted to show her what I see for her. For you, it may be the person is saying, I can't afford it. I want it, but I can't afford it. And they want to throw up. But really what they're saying is, I don't see the expansiveness of what we're going to do together. And sometimes really the magic in you pricing what you price is in you being able to troubleshoot and go, this is what I see for you. How does it feel? Giving the person the chance to see what you see for them beyond what they have as the seal. People dream based on their limitations, based on their patterns, based on their programs, based on what has happened for them in the past, based on what they've achieved before. And hopefully you have the ability to see them beyond that. Even when you tell them, if you had a magic wand, what would you build? They're still telling you based on how they think or what they think they can achieve. So your ability to say, but this is what I'm seeing based on where you are, where you're going, and the obstacles, this is really what I'm saying. How does this feel? If we could do this together, how would that land for you? And people be like, whoa, that's either scary or that's exciting or whatever the thing is. But allowing people to stretch a little bit about their own abilities, seeing people better than they see themselves, if that makes sense. That is the price anchor. Otherwise, then your price just becomes a number and then people just want to throw up on it. And even if it came to that, really, I think the magic for me has been being able to see somebody wanting to throw up and I go, okay, cool, let's process this. And then going through the process and getting them to a place where they can now face me and say, hey, I don't have money. Can't find the money. Don't want to do it right now. Doesn't feel like a fit. Because that's fine. Oh my God, I'm excited. Let's do it. That's fine. What it doesn't serve the person in front of you is really when they say, maybe, let me think through it. Let me ask my wife, because that's not going to help them. They're going to be right back where they were before they sat with you. So I found that really the ability to stretch yourself and the ability to be willing to hold this container for somebody else to stretch beyond what they think is possible is what is going to stretch them to break through whatever the ceiling is that they need to break through to get what they want. And if you're mission driven and you want to change people's lives, one of the ways you can do that is to really help yourself expand your own elasticity when it comes to pricing, so you can help the person in front of you. Because most people have kind of a seal, I'm capped out, I'm spent out, I can't take more credit. Okay, but then you're here and you're struggling and you're about to lose your marriage. And so how does not getting credit help you get better? I kid you not, I had people who would tell me, like a year ago, 2 years ago, when I didn't know how to do this. They would tell me, Prima, I'm going to first I don't have money now, I'm struggling, okay? I want you to help me, but I'm in this program which is not working, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to stay there and make money to pay you. And I'd be like, wow, okay. And I'll just let them go. How crazy was that? I'm in this program, which I've been there for 2 years, it's not worked. I want to work with you, but my plan is to keep doing what I'm doing until I get some money to then afford you. And I'd be like, okay. But like, I'm not helping them. I'm not helping them get out of the box of, okay, this thing is not working and I'm moving on and I'm stretching myself to get what I want. Because I had what I had to help them, but I just couldn't get them to see better. Like I just allowed people to talk themselves out of working with anybody, really. They didn't even have to work with me, but helping them come to a place where they're paying somebody. Doesn't matter who it is. That's what elasticity can do for you. Elasticity in price, factors of supply and demand still really like hold, but like being elastic enough to kind of help the person in front of you, especially stretch. And you can only stretch people as much as you've stretched yourself. So this is my invitation for you to think through if there are ways you're not stretching yourself, stretch yourself. It can only work for the better. And because I have stretched myself too much, because I've taken credit not once, not twice, and I don't even take credit from the bank. Like I have to take credit from like someone, call my sister and say, hey, give me 5 grand. I have to call a friend and say, hey, I need 10 grand. I have to literally borrow it from people. Because I've done that, and because I have paid people back, and because I have seen my own growth, I do not have any angst around helping somebody else do it for themselves. I really feel like it's a service. And I do it from the purest place in my heart. Because I believe that if I didn't borrow money from anyone, I would probably never be where I am today. But for you, your experience may be different. Your belief around money may be different. Your belief around credit may be different. But if there is this thing you want that can change your life and doesn't even have to be working with me, if there's this person you're thinking about working with, there's this thing you know is going to change your life, there's this thing you know is going to change around your revenues, and you find yourself in the box of I can't afford it, can't take credit for coaching. Just want you to feel into that and see what you want to do from there. Okay? That's it from today. I hope it's been helpful. And again, if you want to learn more, you can start for free on Skool. Simply go to Skool and search for best kept secrets. I'll be leaving a link below for you that feels the incline to join us. On the inside, there is everything you need to know to get clients in the door today. 80% of it is going to be the inner game. 20% is going to be evergreen strategy that works every hour, every time. The only difference is people and what's happening for them internally. Really, business is a game of self-development. And the more we can get ahead as people, the better we can be at business. And so if you come to my community, there's a lot of, inner game, and then there's strategy. But I believe that strategy is just 20%. And so don't expect too much of the how-tos and how-tos and how-tos. But you can expect a lot of to and from, a lot of hot seats, a lot of walking through, whatever keeps people stuck in one place. Okay? Thank you for staying around for this long. I believe in you. I believe in your message. And I believe that being a best kept secret serves no good. I'm sharing you on as you share your message, and I'm sending you all my love.